welcome to God, Guns, and Dogs. Got some big updates. We are officially surrounding Iran. The Houthis shot off 18 missiles to one of our destroyer ships, an escort to our Lincoln aircraft carrier, and we destroyed them. I'm going to show you the video at the end of this podcast. So what we're in the middle of is a color revolution. From the Soviet Union before the wall came down. This color revolution is purple. And they wanted regime change. It was a orange revolution. They had the rose revolution as well. These Democrat communists are funding all these protests, actually riots, and they're trying to overthrow our government with state officials that they found in a signal chat. This is highly organized, well-funded. These people are trained to be agitators, blow their whistles, scream, fight, resist. So they call it resistance. It's not. It's an insurrection. Now we've got the Open Society Foundation, George Soros. We've got the Ford Foundation, Rockefellers. They're all involved in the funding. Neville Singham, I mentioned him before in one of my videos, and he lives in China. He's an American. His wife started Code Pink, the left-leaning group. I'm sure you've heard of it. They've been out there rioting after Hamas attacked Israel. We've got this foreign actor living in China and trying to destroy our country. Also, we had a raid on the Georgia voting warehouse where all the ballots are kept and the voting machines are kept. Tulsi Gabbard made a sneak appearance there. But say hi, growly growl. Mr. Frodo. He is very moody. The unpettable doggy, I call him. You're the unpettable doggy. Yeah. They hijack the media for the narrative with politicians and state officials. The funding is coming from out of state, so this is foreign funded. Flanagan, the state official, I believe she's the assistant attorney general for the state of Minnesota. She is one of the organizers of this in the Signal chat, and she used to work for the CIA, and she specializes in what? Regime change. And now she's pulling it in our own country, which they're not allowed to do. They have their foot soldiers, which are the brainwashed freaks out there protesting, trying to fight the police, actually. It's a full spectrum info war, control every aspect of the narrative going out and train these people, brainwash them, and stir them up into a frenzy and then send them out there so that they don't have to have any blowback. It's the citizens that they're using, which they are completely in every way using these people, and they have completely been brainwashed for it. It's unbelievable to watch. So you got your beta males, your transvestites, your liberal white women. What the hell is wrong with these females? I do not know. I mean, I'm thinking maybe that the men were demonized for so long, white men, that now they're finally feeling needed and feel like they have to protect, and their manly instincts are coming out that they've had to suppress for so long. And then these liberal white women, they are so lonely from not having any men in their life because they grew up in communist style, no, don't worry about a man, don't get married, don't have kids, have a career. And then by the time they are old enough to say, whoa, I think I might want to have kids and have a relationship, it's too late. They're too old. So then they become lonely cat ladies. And these are the people that, and then you got your confused transvestite freaks, usually pedophiles. And that's the people that are out there trying to fight the police to keep foreign national rapists, criminally insane people that are hurting children and women, setting them on fire, raping them both. And they're protecting these people. You want to know why? Because they brought these people here to be their new voters, to replace us, to replace the American, born and raised Native American citizens whose family has been here for generations, since the early 1900s or 1800s. My family on one side has been here that long. My grandfather was a blacksmith in New Mexico. He was in the Navy. He was a fighting Seabee. Those are the people, true Americans, that they're trying to replace with these foreign nationals. They bring them in because of their horrible policies, and they give these people all of our money, our tax money that we work our asses for to support their lifestyle if they're not stealing it by the billions, and if they're not Muslim and from Somalia. There was a truck found in Texas, a warehouse that goes with this truck, because they seem to get these trucking companies now too. We found out there's another scheme and scam. Well, this warehouse was full of hearts.
4:17 a.m., Harris County, Texas. Federal agents surrounded a structure that did not appear on any hospital registry. No medical license, no accreditation, no oversight. Inside, refrigeration units hummed in darkness. What they found was not a clinic, it was a vault of human remains. 250 preserved human hearts, no documentation, no consent forms, no chain of custody. A Somali national would confess within hours, but the question that haunted investigators was darker. Where did the hearts come from? Hit like right now so this story reaches the people who need to see what was hidden behind false research claims. The facility sat on the eastern industrial edge of Houston, surrounded by shipping warehouses and trucking depots. For 3 years, neighbors reported refrigerated trucks arriving after midnight. No signage identified the building. No staff entered during daylight. Security cameras covered every approach. When local code enforcement attempted inspections, they were turned away with documentation claiming federal research exemptions. Those exemptions were fabricated. The FBI's Biological Crimes Unit received an anonymous tip in September 2025. A former employee described conditions inside that violated every protocol governing human tissue storage. The tip included photographs, rows of glass containers, hearts suspended in preservative solution, handwritten labels with codes, not names. No institutional review board approval, no bioethics oversight, no connection to any accredited research program. Agents began surveillance on October 2nd. They documented delivery patterns. Refrigerated trucks arrived from 3 cities, El Paso, San Antonio, and Laredo, all border regions. Manifests listed the cargo as medical supplies. Thermal imaging revealed the building's interior was maintained at 38 degrees Fahrenheit, commercial-grade morgue temperature. Financial records showed the facility received wire transfers from accounts in Mogadishu, Dubai, and Istanbul. Over 14 months, $18 million moved through shell companies registered in Delaware and Nevada. The amounts matched no legitimate medical research budget. EICE Homeland Security investigations joined the case on October 19th, when transaction analysis revealed connections to individuals on federal watch lists. 3 names appeared repeatedly in encrypted communications. One was Abdirahman Khalif Osman, a Somali national who entered the United States on a medical research visa in 2019. His credentials claimed affiliation with a Mogadishu hospital that ceased operations in 2017. The visa was fraudulent. He had been living in Houston under a false identity, operating the facility through a network of shell entities. The operation was not isolated. Agents traced similar facilities to Detroit and Minneapolis. Smaller operations, fewer specimens, but the same financing structure. The same encrypted communications. The same absence of regulatory compliance. Comment justice if you believe every name in this network must be exposed. By November 8th, federal prosecutors had assembled evidence for simultaneous raids across 3 states. The scale required coordination between FBI field offices, ICE tactical units, and the Texas Department of Public Safety. U.S. attorneys in Houston, Detroit, and Minneapolis synchronized warrant executions. The operation was designated Cardiac Breach. Briefings took place in a secure facility outside Houston on November 14th. Maps covered the walls. Red markers indicated the primary target in Harris County. Blue markers showed 2 secondary locations, Detroit's Eastern Industrial Zone and a Minneapolis storage unit complex near the airport. Agents reviewed floor plans obtained through covert entry weeks earlier. The Houston facility had reinforced doors, a central refrigeration chamber, and a separate office wing with encrypted server equipment. Intelligence suggested Osman spent nights on site, sleeping in a back room. He was not expected to resist violently, but the presence of substantial financial assets meant flight risk was extreme. The tactical plan called for pre-dawn execution. Darkness, surprise, simultaneous breach at all 3 locations. FBI hostage rescue team members would lead entry in Houston due to the facility's fortified structure. ICE agents would secure the Detroit and Minneapolis sites. Texas Rangers would establish perimeter containment in Houston and coordinate with local law enforcement to prevent media leaks before arrests were completed. November 16th, 4:04 a.m. Agents assembled in staging areas 1 mile from each target. In Houston, 27 federal agents and 12 Texas Rangers moved into position. The air was cold, unusual for mid-November in southeast Texas. Fog rolled off nearby bayou, concealing the tactical convoy's approach. Engines idled low, no lights, no sirens. At 4:17 a.m., the order came through encrypted radios. Execute. The battering ram struck the Houston facility's steel door with precision. The lock shattered. Agents poured inside, flashlights cutting through darkness. Federal agents, search warrant. The refrigeration hum was deafening. The central chamber was larger than surveillance suggested. Rows of industrial shelving units lined the walls. On each shelf, glass containers, hearts preserved in formalin solution. Each container bore a handwritten label, numbers and letters. No names, no patient identifiers, no hospital codes. Agents counted as they documented. 50 containers on the first row, 60 on the second. The numbers climbed. 250 total. Each heart carefully preserved, each one representing a human life.
Is that unbelievably horrific? Somali. They were taking immigrants, killing them, taking their organs, putting on the label of the jar that they were, whatever stuff they were floating in. There was over 257 hearts they found in this warehouse, along with other body parts. Pam Bondi, yes, they made a huge, huge arrest. And it all traces back to the Somalis again. China as well. China is involved in a whole bunch of stuff. They've moved ships, and the Russians have too, over by Iran to think they're going to blockade us. I don't know what this is going to turn into, but it's going to be something. Definitely something. So back to these Minnesota. Minnesota in 1987 is ground zero for Antifa. Antifa used to be a European like gang. Well, they brought Antifa here. This is all China, foreign actors. There's one of the funders lives in Canada, so this is another foreigner funding these groups and these agitators and training them to fight the police. This is all a huge organized conspiracy, basically, to overthrow the American government. I mean, I don't know what else to say. And these Democrats want our tax money. And we have got to vote this midterms like it's the presidential election, and our life freaking depends on it. Vote on policy. Don't safe, effective policy. But you've got to get out there and vote, because they are going to claw tooth and nail to cheat, lie, steal, and win. Anything for power. These people are sick, making us live the way we lived. Oh, guess what? In Maine, since they moved a bunch of Somalis, they're all fraud. And the Haitians, guess how many cats? 40 have gone missing since the Haitians showed up. 40. No collars, no remains. I wonder what happened to all the cats. And they just had Haitians come there. Color, also behind this color revolution, is Great Britain. Economic grip on us with all kinds of plans to destabilize America. China, the elite, the WHO, the World Health Organization, the World Global Order, or so they want to call it. Those are the people that are behind it. The SAVE Act has passed through Congress, which will require voter ID and proof of citizenship. The only people that are against that are the Democrats. So you need to look up who your representative is and call them and say, look, pass the SAVE Act.
Always coming up, China, China, China. They're like freaking water. They seep through every crack. They will not leave us alone. What the hell is wrong with those goddamn people, man? They need to go worry about their people and stop coming over here and trying to take our stuff. They can't be us. They never will be us. Keep on trying to copy us. Go ahead, but do it from a distance, please. Now, Trump is remaking our entire economic system without Great Britain involved. These people want man to be the ruler of all. They hate it that we believe in a higher power. I don't know what these history books are trying to teach people, but hello, people. Slavery started in Africa by Africans making their own people slaves. They introduced that to the Europeans. The Europeans came over here after we founded the 13 colonies, and they brought slaves with them. That's why not everybody had slaves. They also gave them the freedom to stay here, gave them 160 acres apiece to settle and start a family. And you guys are going to sit there and talk about reparations? You know how many lives that were lost during that war? A lot. And they were all men fighting to free slaves that didn't even have slaves.
We've got to vote the same way for the midterms. We've got to get an overwhelming majority in the midterms. If we can get 20 seats in the House and in the Senate, that way the Democrats will not have any more power or any more loopholes to come in and do what they did before, because they're already threatening it. It's going to be impeach everybody in Trump's cabinet, impeach Trump, arrest anybody that they find online that said something they didn't like, which is probably most of you. So I'd be scared. Do not stay home. Do not stay home. Because if you stay home, you're pretty much signing your own jail sentence, because they're going to be communist central. It's going to be Joe Biden times 50. Except they're going to come after the citizens. So we have got to vote like our life depends on it. And we have to go to liberty.gov, and it gives every single candidate that's running for office, especially in the midterms, and how they have voted in the past, whether they're in, like a state legislature, how they voted up the ranks since they've been in public office. So every single person that says they're a Republican or independent that's running in the midterms, and we don't know them personally, how they voted, we've got to look them up and see how they voted in the past, because they've got another little scheme and scam they're doing, which is pretending to be Republicans, saying all the right things, getting into office, and then waylaying us and destroying us with policy. So we've got to check their past voting record. That's the only way we're going to know who we're really voting for, because these people are the devil. They are deceiving, lying, and conniving. They'll do anything to take our money and control power over our lives. And we cannot let them have it. So we're trying to get out from underneath Britain and the gambling state. Scott Bessent is trying to move things more towards investing in long-term, like retirement, with the $1,000 that the baby gets that's born, and then you keep that in an account and you just add to it percentage little by little. By the time they're 65, they'll have almost $1 million to retire on, plus Social Security. Now that is a wonderful idea. So we're going from the gambling state, and all it does is take our precious dollars that we cannot afford to just be giving away. We've had so much stolen from us. These foreigners have come over here just to prey on our good heart and our kindness and our good social system, because we work so hard. And what Maduro did is he took a play from Castro. Castro is the one that started the empty the jails and prisons and mental institutions, send them to America. Castro started that shit. So it's basically the British, China, the cartels, and the elites, and the globalists. And that's who is trying to destroy us. We're getting hit from all different directions, which is not good. In my opinion, it's all jealousy. China's jealous of us because we're smarter than them, more innovative. We don't want to be anything like them. Look at their life. It's horrible. I don't want to live a life like that. I want to live a life of happiness and joy. If these devils would just get off our backs and leave us alone, I mean, it's like every turn they're trying to destroy us. What the hell? We got to secure our country big time and keep our people safe. and prosper, multiply, education. That's the key out of poverty is education, always. And the way Trump is going about everything is he's not trying to just go and swoop in and arrest 500 people like they did. What Trump's doing is methodical. He's going after the head of the snake, which they have really done a good job on covering their tracks and in these organizations, but it's all unraveling thanks to citizen YouTubers. Pam Bondi seems like she's doing her job, and Tulsi Gabbard is wonderful. She's done a bang up job. She's perfect for that position. And I can't wait till we hear what's uncovered with Smartmatic and Dominion. And Dominion needs to pay Fox News back that $700 billion that they got. A lawsuit because they were accused of cheating. And lo and behold, the whole entire time, they've been along with China and Serbia, cheating in 72 different countries. We're trying to build back true capitalism, get rid of fascism, get rid of communism, stop this immigration, change the rules. I called my congressman and I made a proposal on a request about amending the 14th Amendment and changing the wording from all people must be naturalized citizen to all people must be native born citizens to be a judge or to be in any kind of government office. These foreigners that have been here in our country for 2 seconds and all of a sudden get appointed as a lifetime judge ruling over Americans. They don't even know our way of life. They're not from here. They weren't born here. They weren't raised here, but yet they're deciding the fate of us. No, that is wrong. I don't agree with that in any way, shape, or form. We need American people or representing American people, not these foreigners that are representing an entirely different country than the one that they are in. And they are making legislations, making laws that control Americans' life, and they weren't even born here. That is a tragedy. It should not be happening. And we need to amend the 14th Amendment so that judges and congressmen and senators are American in every way. They were born in America, not naturalized. I'm serious. I just want America back. I want my American people and my country back. I don't like what's happening. These Democrats are disgusting. And you want to know something? They don't even realize they're going to be the first ones to fall. If those people, China doesn't like them because they're trying to bring us down. They think they're even worse for betraying their own country. They don't have any respect. They're just joining up with them because they both have a common goal, bring down America. It's pretty sad that Americans are doing this. We got a lot of people that need some serious help. I'm serious. All right, you people, I'm going to show you this video, and this is called a FAFO. F around and find out. See what happened to the Houthis.
February 27th, 2026, 3:42 p.m., the day Yemen's Houthis made their worst mistake. USS Sterett, Arleigh Burke destroyer, 50 miles ahead of USS Abraham Lincoln carrier strike group, screening the Armada, protecting the approach, standard escort position. Then, Houthi rebels in Yemen, emboldened by Iran's promises, decided to act. Released video that morning, burning ships. Caption, soon. Message clear, we're coming for the Armada. At 3:42 p.m., they kept their promise. 18 anti-ship missiles, launched from 6 locations across Yemen. C-801 missiles, Chinese-made, deadly, all targeting one American destroyer, USS Sterett, the Guardian, the Shield. Houthi commanders in Sana'a watching. Sink that destroyer, clear the path, help our Iranian brothers, stop the American Armada. Allah Akbar. Their plan was perfect. Overwhelm one destroyer with 18 missiles, sink it, create gap in carrier's defense, force Armada to turn back, show solidarity with Iran, prove Houthis can strike American power. But Houthis made 6 catastrophic miscalculations. First, USS Sterett wasn't alone. USS Ralph Johnson, second destroyer, was 12 miles away. Both Aegis systems, both ready. Second, 4 FA-18 Super Hornets from USS Lincoln were on combat air patrol overhead, armed, watching, waiting. Third, 200 U.S. Marines aboard USS Bataan were preparing for exactly this scenario. Assault helicopters fueled, landing craft ready. Fourth, every Houthi position that fired, every base, every launcher, every command bunker was already mapped by U.S. intelligence, coordinates locked. Fifth, U.S. Central Command had authorization ready. Moment Houthis fired at Armada, response would be total. Sixth, firing at ships protecting American carrier meant declaring war on United States, and America's response to Houthi rebels would be annihilation. 31 minutes, 18 missiles destroyed, 8 Houthi military bases obliterated, 53 Houthi commanders killed, Yemen's ability to threaten shipping eliminated forever. This is how the Armada dealt with Houthis. 24 hours earlier, January 26th, Sana'a, Yemen, Houthi Military Command Center. Houthi military spokesman released video, footage of burning tanker, previous attack. Caption in English and Arabic, soon. Message aimed at USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Group, warning, threat, promise. Houthi Supreme Political Council convened. American Armada approaching. Iran requests our support. We must act. Attack carriers' escorts. Create chaos. Show Americans we control these waters. Commander Abdul Malik al-Houthi. We have proven we can sink ships. We attacked over 100 vessels before ceasefire. Now Americans think we are finished. They are wrong. We strike the destroyer. We help Iran. We show our strength. Decision made. Target USS Sterett. Destroyer screening 50 miles ahead of carrier. Attack with maximum force. Overwhelm defenses. Sink American warship. 6 Houthi anti-ship missile positions prepared. Hodeida Coastal Battery, 4 C-801 missiles. Mocha Launcher Site, 3 missiles. Aden Command Position, 3 missiles. Taiz Mountain Battery, 3 missiles. The Mar Inland Launcher, 3 missiles. Sana'a Reserve Position, 2 missiles. 18 anti-ship missiles total. Chinese C-801s, range 100 kilometers, sea skimming, designed to kill warships. January 27th, 2 p.m. USS Sterett, 50 miles ahead of Lincoln, detected unusual Houthi communications, increased radio traffic, encrypted messages, warning signs. Commander Jennifer Martinez, Sterett's captain, something's brewing. Houthis released that video this morning. Now increased activity. All hands heightened alert. Weapons systems ready. This could be real. At 3 p.m., U.S. Space Force satellites detected thermal activity at 6 Houthi positions. Missile systems activating. Launch preparations underway. Alert transmitted to 5th Fleet. Houthi missile batteries showing launch indicators. Possible attack on Armada escorts imminent. At 3:15 p.m., USS Lincoln and USS Bataan went to combat stations. FA-18s launched for combat air patrol. AH-1Z Viper helicopters prepared for strike missions. Marines readied for assault operations. Admiral Richardson, Armada commander. Houthis may try something. They've been quiet since Gaza ceasefire, maybe feeling pressure to help Iran. Defend the formation. If they fire, we eliminate their capability permanently. At 3:35 p.m., Houthi launch authorization transmitted. All units, fire on American destroyer. Coordinate timing, overwhelm defenses, sink that ship. Execute now.
And your A1C will drop drastically. I wish I had heard that.
At 3:42 p.m., 18 Houthi missiles launched. Boom, boom, boom. 6 different locations across Yemen, staggered timing by seconds, all converging on USS Sterett from multiple angles. C-801 missiles, subsonic but sea-skimming, hard to detect at low altitude. 165-kilogram warheads designed to cripple destroyers. Flight time, 3 to 4 minutes, depending on distance. At 3:42:08, 8 seconds after first launch, USS Sterett's SPY-6 radar detected missile launches. Automated alert, vampire, vampire, vampire. Multiple anti-ship missiles inbound. Count 18 missiles, bearing multiple, targeting this vessel. Commander Martinez, General Quarters, all hands battle stations, engage all threats. This is not a drill. Fire everything. USS Ralph Johnson, 12 miles away, also detected launches. Sterett under attack, 18 missiles inbound, engaging in support. Both destroyers activated Aegis systems, tracking all 18 missiles simultaneously, calculating intercept solutions, prioritizing threats, launching defenses. At 3:42:20, USS Sterett fired first SM-2 salvo, 8 standard missiles, engaging threats at maximum range. Foosh, foosh, foosh. USS Ralph Johnson fired 6 SM-2s supporting, protecting sister ship. At 3:43 p.m., 4 FA-18 Super Hornets on combat air patrol received emergency orders. Sterett under missile attack, engage inbound threats with AMRAAMs. Unusual tactic, fighter jets hunting anti-ship missiles, but desperate times, critical situation. 16 AIM-120 AMRAAMs launched, air-to-air weapons targeting sea-skimming cruise missiles. Difficult shots, but pilots trained for this. At 3:43:45, first intercepts began, 40 kilometers from Sterett. SM-2 missiles destroyed 4 Houthi missiles, perfect kills, explosions, debris raining into the Gulf. FA-18 AMRAAMs hit 3 more Houthi missiles, innovative defense working. But 11 Houthi missiles still incoming, penetrating outer defenses, getting closer. 20 kilometers, 15 kilometers. At 3:44:30, both destroyers fired rolling airframe missiles, point defense, shorter range, highly maneuverable. 20 rams launched total, chasing remaining threats. 7 more Houthi missiles destroyed, 4 missiles remaining, 8 kilometers from Sterett, 45 seconds to impact. At 3:45 p.m., final defense layer, Phalanx CIWS, 4 systems between both destroyers, Gatling guns, 60,000 rounds per minute combined. Brrr, brrr, brrr. Walls of metal, desperate last stand. 3 Houthi missiles shredded, 1 missile remaining, 2 kilometers from Sterett, 10 seconds. Electronic warfare activated, jamming missile guidance, deploying chaff, creating false targets. Final Houthi missile confused, lost lock, circled, crashed into water 1,000 meters from Sterett, exploded harmlessly. At 3:45:30, threat over. 18 Houthi missiles launched, 18 missiles destroyed, 0 hits, 0 damage, 0 casualties. Complete defensive success. Commander Martinez, all departments report status. Engineering, all systems operational. Weapons, all systems ready. Combat, no damage sustained. USS Sterett survived. Perfect defense. Every missile defeated. But at 3:42:45, while missiles were still in flight, something else had launched from USS Lincoln and USS Baton. Retaliatory strike. Total. Overwhelming. Devastating. Houthis had fired at American ships protecting the Armada. Now they would learn what that decision cost. 15:42:45 p.m. Houthi missiles still flying toward USS Sterett, but American counterstrike already airborne. USS Abraham Lincoln launched immediate response. 16 FA-18E/F Super Hornets, each armed with 4 AGM-154 JSOW glide bombs and 2 AGM-88 HARM anti-radar missiles. 8 F-35C Lightning II stealth fighters, each carrying 8 GBU-53 Stormbreaker bombs. Total, 128 precision weapons on aircraft. At 3:43 p.m., USS Baton launched assault package. 6 AH-1Z Viper attack helicopters, 48 Hellfire missiles total. 4 UH-1Y Venom utility helicopters, carrying 80 Force Recon Marines for ground assault. At 3:44 p.m., 4 EA-18G Growler electronic warfare aircraft activated maximum jamming. Houthi radar systems blinded. Air defenses unable to lock targets. Electronic dominance established. At 3:45 p.m., 16 Super Hornets fired 32 AGM-88 HARM missiles at Houthi radar installations. Every radar station, every air defense system, every early warning installation within 100 kilometers of Yemeni coast. 32 radars destroyed in 2 minutes. Anti-radiation missiles homing on emissions. Precision kills. Houthi air defenses blind. At 3:47 p.m., strike aircraft reached Yemeni coast. 6 Houthi missile positions that fired at Sterett, all targeted simultaneously. Hodeida Coastal Battery, 12 JSOW bombs, launch vehicles destroyed, command bunker obliterated, ammunition storage chain reacted, crew casualties, battery eliminated. Mocha Launcher Site, 8 JSOWs, coastal position destroyed, launchers obliterated, support buildings flattened. Aden Command Position, 10 JSOWs, command center destroyed, communications collapsed, regional coordination eliminated. Taiz Mountain Battery, 8 JSOWs, mountain launcher position destroyed, access roads cratered, equipment eliminated. Damar Inland Launcher, 6 JSOWs, hidden position destroyed, missiles destroyed before launch, facility collapsed. Sana'a Reserve Position, 4 JSOWs, final battery eliminated, all equipment destroyed. At 3:49 p.m., all 6 Houthi missile positions that fired at Sterett completely destroyed, launchers obliterated, cannot fire again, ever. But American strikes intensified. At 3:50 p.m., USS Sterett and USS Ralph Johnson, ships that were just attacked, fired combined salvo of 48 Tomahawk cruise missiles, retaliation from the targets themselves, maximum impact. Target, Houthi military infrastructure supporting anti-ship operations. Houthi Naval Forces Command, Hodeida, main headquarters coordinating attacks on shipping, struck by 12 Tomahawks. Headquarters building collapsed, command staff killed, operations center destroyed, communications eliminated. Sana'a Military Command Complex, Supreme Political Council military coordination, hit by 10 Tomahawks. Command bunker penetrated, senior leadership casualties, regional control destroyed. Hodeida Port military facilities, where Houthis prepared attack boats and missiles, struck by 8 Tomahawks. Port destroyed, fuel storage erupted, ammunition depot exploded, vessels at dock sunk. Aden Naval Base, Southern Operations Center, hit by 6 Tomahawks. Command Center destroyed. Communications tower collapsed. Coordination capability eliminated. 2 Houthi ammunition storage facilities, 8 Tomahawks, massive explosions, thousands of missiles and rockets destroyed in storage. Houthi Air Force Command, Sana'a, coordinating drone operations, 4 Tomahawks, command center destroyed, drone operations capability eliminated. At 3:52 p.m., 8 F-35C stealth fighters, invisible to Houthi defenses, struck leadership targets. Houthi Supreme Political Council meeting complex, where the attack was authorized, struck with 16 Stormbreaker bombs. Building destroyed, multiple council members killed, decision-makers eliminated. 3 Houthi training facilities, where anti-ship tactics taught, hit with 48 Stormbreaker bombs. Training centers destroyed, barracks collapsed. At 3:54 p.m., 6 AH-1Z Viper helicopters attacked Houthi fast attack boats attempting to escape Hodeidah port. 8 Houthi attack boats used in previous Red Sea attacks, targeted with 48 Hellfire missiles. Complete overkill. All boats destroyed, sunk, burning. At 3:56 p.m., 4 UH-1Y helicopters inserted 80 U.S. Marines on Yemeni coast near Mocha. Mission: secure destroyed missile site, capture intelligence, ensure no survivors to report tactics. Marines landed under AH-1Z cover, secured destroyed Houthi position, found documents, communications equipment, intelligence on Houthi-Iran coordination. Confirmed, attack coordinated with Tehran to support Armada defense. At 3:58 p.m., Marines extracted, mission complete, intelligence secured. At 4 p.m., 16 Super Hornets conducted secondary strikes. 4 Houthi fuel storage facilities, 32 JSOW bombs, massive fireballs, black smoke, military fuel supply eliminated. 3 Houthi communications relay stations, 24 JSOWs, regional communications destroyed, cannot coordinate operations. 2 Houthi radar production workshops, 16 JSOWs, manufacturing destroyed, cannot replace radars. At 4:05 p.m., USS Lincoln launched final strike wave, 8 FA-18s, 32 precision bombs. Houthi military leadership compound, Sana'a, where military decisions made, struck with 32 bombs. Compound destroyed, senior military staff casualties. At 4:13 p.m., 31 minutes after Houthis fired first missile, Operation Guardian Strike complete. Total ordnance delivered: 48 Tomahawk cruise missiles, 128 JSOW and Stormbreaker bombs, 48 Hellfire missiles, 32 HARM anti-radar missiles. Total 256 precision weapons delivered in 31 minutes. Targets destroyed: 6 Houthi missile batteries, all that fired, 8 military command centers, 4 naval facilities, 3 training centers, 2 ammunition storage, 8 attack boats, 32 radar installations, 4 fuel depots, 3 communication stations, 8 primary Houthi military bases completely destroyed, 21 supporting facilities eliminated. Estimated Houthi casualties: 867 personnel, mix of missile crews, naval forces, command staff, leadership members. Allied losses: 0. USS Sterett undamaged. USS Ralph Johnson operational. Not one aircraft hit, not one Marine wounded. Perfect defense, overwhelming offense. Houthi capability to threaten the Red Sea shipping functionally eliminated. Leadership decimated. Bases destroyed, equipment obliterated, communications severed. USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group continued mission, sailed through the Gulf of Aden, entered the Red Sea, transited the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, unstoppable, protected, victorious. The Armada had sent its message. Attack our escorts, lose everything. January 27th, 2026. The day Houthis learned, don't attack the Armada.